Welcome to another Creator Connections here on Facebook. Today, I have my co-host, but also he's going to host today's show. Jonah, welcome to the show.
Well, hello, everybody. I am excited to be here, Kevin. Thanks for letting me take the spotlight from you just a little bit. We're going to have some fun today and talk through a game coming out here shortly. And so stick around, join us. Well, hello. All right. So we are talking today about Evil Corp. Don't be evil, but maybe be evil in the game. And this game is well, tell us about it a little bit here. Tell us when it's coming out and give us a little bit of background and insight on the game just for everybody watching.
Cool. Thanks, Jonah. It's lovely to meet you. Well, the game's available now after a kind of long production route, but it's available now with limited copies. Really, it's our first production run. The game's properly just a dark reflection of, it's not a Mr. Robot game, but it is a dark reflection of the world that we find ourselves in, where quite literally a handful of billionaire CEOs in the real world definitively do shape our society and the future of our societies. So my co-designer and I, Alex, being somewhat satirically minded, set about creating a game which would kind of demonstrate that through play, whilst letting people have a lot of fun with a very sort of take that hand and area management style game.
Very cool. Yeah, so I actually had the chance to play it. I've actually played it. There's actually 2 game modes that come in the box. So this is unique and helpful for a lot of people. There's one that's kind of, I would call it the beginner-esque game mode, and it does not include the CEO power cards. So basically, to start the game, you're going to be an asymmetric player. It's a CEO that comes with a power card, a special ability, and there's a beginner portion of this game where you don't use those cards. But there's also the more advanced game where you do use these cards and you have this special ability. In the game, what you're attempting to do basically is control, it's a little area control. You're trying to control with your businesses these sections of the game board, right? And every section that you control is going to provide revenue for you. One of my favorite parts about the game is that the revenue portion of the game is in billion-dollar bills, which the rules say, because nothing else under $1 billion matters, right? Or something like that. So I love that. But anyway,
yeah, what is it? I think it's like our CEOs wouldn't get out of bed for less than $1 billion.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, and in this game, you're trying to, it's got a couple of different dimensions to it. What you're trying to do is you collect these cards on your turn, and each card is kind of split into 2 sides. You've got the top side that allows you basically to place a new business in a country, really is what they are, in a country or a city in that country. And you've got like the bottom side, which I believe you guys have a unique name for it, but it's kind of like the take that aspect of the game. It's like this nasty business like action on this card. So it might say steal things from other players or take their money or whatever, stuff like that. And on your turn, you can play as many cards as you basically have or have money for, and you can do either side, either the top side or the bottom side. Well, what you're attempting to do is get these 3 cards, 3 phases 1, 2, and 3 of your player color, of your CEO color in front of you, and that kind of activates the end game where you can try to win the game. The other players obviously are trying to do that themselves, but stop you at the same time from doing that. And the cool part about it is there's just lots to take that. You can steal some of the phases of your color or other colors away from people. If you're playing the advanced portion with the CEO power cards, you can activate those and do other things. So it's really, really unique and interesting how the game works and operates. I was just telling you just before we started the interview that I said I've been able to play it a few times, and I like the gameplay at both like the beginner and the advanced. I honestly thought that it was fun either way. There's lots and lots and lots of take that after you get so the first time we played, it was kind of friendly. We were figuring it out, that sort of thing. But after the second time, it was more my style of game. I like the take that type games where it's like you got to be strategic in what you're doing to win the game. But at the same time, almost every chance you get, it's like, oh, but take that and lose some money and do this. So I really enjoy that about the game. So tell us a little bit. I'm interested in this theme of the game. Where did that come from? The name Evil Corp with don't be evil, crossed out the don't on the box. Tell us a little bit about that theme and kind of where that came from.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I'm really glad that you had the kind of fun with it that you appear to have had, because that's what it's all about for us. It's not that mean, but it is super mean. And I mean, for example, there's like a counter card, right? So it's one of the nasty business you can do. So you try and attack someone, they counter it, but then you can counter their counter, and they can counter your counter. So there are many opportunities for just sort of absurd moments. So that aside, it actually, the reason that, well, the way that it occurred to us was me and my friend, the co-designer for Evil Corp, Alex Harrison, we were playing a D&D game, and it was with my sister and his girlfriend. It was in our D&D group, and we started talking about just the notion of Evil Corp, the idea of it. Now, Evil Corp, as a kind of trope, goes all the way back to the 20s, the 30s, right? This idea that evil corporations are trying to conspicuously or inconspicuously control your future. And we just were, oh, well, there's got to be a game for that. And we Googled it, and there was no game for it. So Alex and I had previously worked on video game development together, and we were like, this is not a video, this is a board game. It has to be a board game. And so the following week, instead of doing D&D, we turned it into a design session, and we began prototyping the next week.
Now the game has a lot of cool features. So it's like this modular board that you put together, which kind of is going to give you, now it's not really particular to where it is on the modular board to give you different gameplay, but the fact that it is modular, I mean, that's the design aspect that, makes you go, oh, this game's kind of cool already, just coming out of the box when you're kind of sticking these puzzle pieces together to make the board. I also really enjoyed that the center console where the cards go and the money goes, there's like these little slots right underneath them on each particular game board piece where you can slide these cards under that affect that particular section or country. I mean, I thought that was really unique. It makes it, when games have that sort of thing involved with them, like somebody actually took the time to, pay attention and play the game and say, oh, this would be a lot better if it fit this way or it slid underneath. I mean, it makes you have a better time playing the game, right? It's like somebody actually went through, some design here and put this out in a way that knew we were going to be enjoying this and playing it. So it really is a unique game board and a unique kind of center console thing that you've got going on there. Was that part of the original design? Was that like, we need to throw something into the game to make it pop? I mean, where did that come from?
Something like it was present really quite early on. The game, in a weird way, because we began to work with the design primitives of trapezoids and hexagons and pyramids. So the pyramidal structure, the HQ, which I'm sure you'll mention later, it's basically a sort of reference to the Tyrell Corporation from Blade Runner, like a prototype.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
And everything else is hexagons and trapezoid. So as soon as you start to sort of work within those primitive sets, the game designs itself to a degree, because then what goes in the middle? Well, it's clearly a hexagon kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
But I'm really glad you said it, because Alex, my co-designer, would just be so happy. He will be happy to hear it, because he spent a lot of time working on that, getting it. So, God, it needs to be 3 millimeters bigger. Just do it. But it's like you said, it's important for the reasons that you just said, which is that when you open the box and you put it together and it feels this way, then that's what we want. That's what we're after, is to create that little bit of extra thematic feeling so that you feel that you can suspend disbelief a little bit and enter the world.
Yeah, the game as well, it's just got this modern feel to it. I'm playing a game. I mean, even the CEOs that you are and the cards that you have and their like slogan that's on them, it's like it just got this modern feel. It's like you almost feel like, oh yeah, I mean, if the savant was a real person, I mean, they would say that. I mean, you know what I mean? So it really, I mean, that sort of design aspect is is very, I mean, it's hugely popular in these games. I mean, we give out awards each year for games that took the time to, you know, have cool art or design well and things like that. So I really appreciated that in the game. Not only the gameplay being fun, being, again, my type of game as far as I take that, it doesn't have to be, I maybe made it sound a little meaner than it is. It doesn't have to be, but that's just the way that I like to play it. So I would have a great time. But right, it's like not only can we have a good time playing the game, but also the components look good, the cards look good, the pieces fit together well. I mean, cards don't fit. It's like, you know what I mean? So that's a huge deal for the game. So I really appreciated that about Evil Corp. But I will say this, one of the pieces that I liked most were the Bankrupt tokens. Honestly, I thought that was so funny that if you go bankrupt, you flip the token over and now you're just rebranding and then you're back in it next round. I thought that was absolutely awesome. That was like, they nailed it. You know what I mean?
It's cute, right? Because the whole thing in the game as well, like you know, I think a lot of board game designers, perhaps not so much now because it's so much more of a mature category, but everyone wants to make like Monopoly, or they used to, kind of thing. What we wanted to do was we set out to destroy Monopoly. We wanted to make a game that would sit in the same place, be just as playable, but be a version for the 21st century. And bankruptcy is just that. It's actually it's a benefit in the game. If you go bankrupt, sure, you don't get any money that turn, but no one can attack you. You can use bankruptcy, you can deploy it tactically in the game. And that's a big kind of FU to the real world kind of thing.
That's very cool. Well, tell everybody one more time that's available right now, Evil Corp. Tell them where they can get it, and then I'll tell them a little bit about some stuff we've got planned in the future for them as well for your game. So it's available now. Where can they get it if they're interested?
Yeah, so just visit evilcorpgame.com. Go take a look. There's a 6-minute short film which is based on the universe, which stars some incredible actors. Like, it's a great companion to the game. And what I'd really love to do for people watching is to actually do a little premiere of an upcoming campaign we have for Evil Corp. So I want to preface it just a little bit. So when we deal with the kind of people that we're dealing with in the game, which are effectively billionaires who, the strapline is really save the world, no matter the cost. And that's the kind of feeling that we're trying to get across and portray here. And so this campaign is all about not what they say, not the PR spiel that you get when you see an interview, but what they really mean. So with that, I mean, this is like just under a minute. Let's have a look.
The industrialists, the inventors, hide out in a remote mountain valley as America falls apart. They believe they could transform the entire population. The aim is to transform everyone into computers.
I believe so powerfully in low-income neighborhoods because I really need a society where I can profit. If you can build a society where somebody is always kneeling, you have an all-you-can-eat buffet. So I tap dance into the office, and that's great. That's how it should be. And so I made a list of people on the internet and put them into buckets. And then after we had the business model, I sent robotic probes after them. I had so much fun.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
There we go. Yeah, a bunch of sense. But, you know, the expansionist, who is one of the characters in the game, he's based on Jeff Bezos. What can I say?
Yeah.
He just is.
Yeah, it sure is. Absolutely. Well, we've had some fun talking with you. I believe for everybody watching that's fans and hanging out with us at Tantrum House that we are going to do a live playthrough of this game, Evil Corp. I believe that's coming up right when March starts. I believe it's the 4th. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. But if it's March 4th, we're going to do that. So I know I've got lots of folks out there who love to tune in and watch us play things. This is going to be one that you're going to enjoy. I promise you. this is right down my alley. So if you like hanging out with me and hoping I win games, you got to tune in for this one. So anyway, thank you so much for your time, energy, and effort into making this game, where we were, pleasantly delighted to be able to play it and have fun and enjoy it. So I'm excited to get it back to the table. That's going to be fun, especially playing with some of the other folks in Tantrum House. You got to make sure you tune in for that. It's a whole event when we play live games and people keep.
Well, I'm looking forward to rooting for you to win as well.
That's what we like to see. We love that. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. That's Evil Corp. Don't be evil. Be evil. I don't know what I call it. You don't have to play mean, but if you know me, that's how we're gonna do it. So thanks so much. That's available right now on evilcorpgame.com if you're interested. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Jonah.